Hello YouTube, and welcome to our 17th YouTube tutorial. And in this tutorial, as said before, we are going to make our character shoot at us, and this is a simple process which can easily be done just like we've made our own character, but all we do is add a timer onto it the same. So to start, firstly, so we need to make our character fire, and we also, if we're following the theme of our game, we need a sound. So I did some searching and came up with this sound effects center. It's got millions of sounds in it, and I went searching for a while and found this one, Skyrim Projectile Fire Breath, and it sounds like this. Don't know if you could hear that. If not, yeah, but that's the one we're going to use. So to download it, right click the download button, save as, blah blah, and stick it in your project like we have done for every other one. I've already done this to save time again, and here it is. So there it is. So that'll play whenever he fires, so we can make it sound much better. And so to start, get rid of the 3D sound like we always do, because apparently that doesn't work. Yeah, so now that's done, all we need to do is, just like our normal one, is put a object in front of our character, which will be their spawn point. So if you look at our character, he has one there called bullet spawn point, and we need to do one for this enemy. So game object create other, and we'll create a simple sphere. It can be anything or any shape, it doesn't matter because we're just getting rid of it anyway. So make it really small, just so it doesn't matter though, but, and then make sure you stick it away so it doesn't hit him, because if it hits him it will kill him. And then untick the mesh renderer. So this we will call enemy underscore spawn point, like so, point. And we will drag that into our enemies, into Shang Tsung, like so. So that one's done, so that's easily done. So now if we go to our scripts folder and create, I think Shang Tsung's got a, yeah, he's already got an audio source, so we don't need to do that. If we go into, close everything and go into our enemy, create a new script inside and call it enemy firing. Simple enough. So to start, open it up, and here we go. So we need to create 3 variables. Our first one will be the actual projectile, so we're just going to call it fireball, because Shang Tsung's a fire ball person. And it will be a transform, just like our characters. We will also, for this reason, because we're going to have many enemies, we will create a variable for our spawn point, so just call it spawn point, like so, and that'll be a transform too. The reason we're going to do that is because on our character we've done gameObject.Find, which searches the whole level, but if we've got multiple enemies it'll fire from each one of theirs instead of ours, so we just simply do that. And then next we need to create another variable called, when this variable's on it will fire, and when it's off it won't fire. So we can turn the variable on and off so fast that it only fires 1 bullet. So it's, if it's true, fire the bullet, make it false, then the timer ticks. If it's true, fire, make it false, and we'll just call this open fire, and this will equal true. You'll understand that more later if you don't now. We can get rid of the function start because we don't need that. Lay it out better. So let's start. First we want to create an if statement, which will be if the open fire variable equals true, which it does, then we want it to fire here. But if we put it here, because that update frame calls it every millisecond or something, then it'll fire like 5 bullets at a time by the time it closes itself. So now what we'll do is create a new function, and we'll call this one fire. Yeah, just simply like that. I think we've covered functions, but if not, functions basically controls main events. So in this fire one we are going to make it fire. So if we paste this fire in the open fire like so, so when the open fire is true, which it is, then it'll jump to here and perform this code. So we want to var, and now we're going to instantiate like we did on the other one. So you can just go back and copy and paste a bit, just in case someone hasn't watched my other tutorials, I'll just quickly cover it. So we create a new variable, call it fire bullet, yeah, and then that'll be equal to instantiate, yeah, I think that's right. And then instantiate has 3 variables, which we all know. The first one is what we want to fire, messing up there. So what do we want to fire? We want to fire the fireball, like so. Then where do we want to fire it? We want to fire it at the spawn point, but we want .position. We want to fire it from the position of the spawn point. And then we want Quaternion.identity, no capitals on identity, like so. We've already covered that, so that should be all good. And then we want our fire bullet rigidbody.AddForce, like we did on the other one, which pushes it forwards. And then we want its transform.forward, like so. So it transforms the position of the bullet, which we added there, transform variable. And then we want to times it by 1000, which is the same as our character. And then what we want to do after that, so it's true, but if we're at the moment, all it'll do is keep repeating it, it'll fire and fire and fire and then crash our system, which is bad. So what we need to do is disable open fire, so open fire equals false. All good, but it will never come back on. That's the loop. So now we add the timer. So if we just do it in the middle of here, so function timer, and then yep, just another function. And in this function, it will be a small yield.wait for seconds, which I think we've already covered. If not, what it does is basically it tells the system to stop everything until these seconds have passed, then carry on anything below it. So firstly what we'll do is, if the open fire equals false, which it will, because it'll go, if it's true, yes, fire it once, false, it's done. But then we will make this come back into the timer here, so if we just put the timer here, like so, so it'll come back into the timer, which will come here. So if we just drag this below, like so, it'll bring it back to the timer, which then if the open fire equals false, which it does, because we don't want this going off when it equals true, because then it'll just never stop firing. Then in here, we want it to yield. I think yield means stop, I'm not sure, but oh well, 4 seconds, all capitals on wait for seconds. So if yield, stop everything, but wait for these seconds. So I found that 3 was a pretty good one when I was testing earlier. And then after, so it won't perform anything below that code, won't touch it until them seconds is over. So what do we want to happen after the 3 seconds are over? Turns open fire back on. So whenever open fire's on, it can, equals true, yeah, it can fire because of this. But then when it fires, it disables it, but then the timer comes back on and does it. So it's a small little loop which works to our advantage. So now if we go back to our game and test it before we put the audio on. So look, no errors apart from that one, which we can just ignore. That's for something to do with Unity. We don't need to worry about that. Oh no. There we go. And then paste. What's all this? Go away. There we go. Paste out enemy firing. There it is. Everything's all ready. As you can see, it'll default start fire. So what we'll do later, another tutorial, is make it so if we're in range of it, then fire. Because at the moment it's just going to keep firing and firing. But so firstly, we want to stick our spawn point there, which is our enemy spawn point there. But if we put our fireball there and a prefab, if it ever hits him, it will kill him, because he's allergic to his own fireball, if that makes sense. Oh, there's my one earlier, ignore that. But yeah, so what we need to do is duplicate our fireball. So as you saw, I just already did it. It was testing purposes, so go to create and then prefab, call it enemy bullet, yeah, it don't matter what you call it. Drag the fireball out here and then change the name of it. So we will just call this enemy fireball, because then when it spawns, when the fireball spawns, it changes it to fireball or whatever you've called it, bracket clone bracket. So if we call it enemy bullet, it won't attack our own, because our code says if this game object named this hits it, but now it's not named that, so it won't touch it, it will be all good. So we don't need to disable anything on there. So drag our enemy fireball to our enemy bullet, get rid, and now we can equip it to Shang Tsung, and he can fire at us and be so cool. And because he already looks at us, we don't need to worry about making the fireball aim at us. So if you watch, boom, boom, there we go. As you can see, the fireballs will eventually self-detonate. If you watch the first one far up there, boom, boom, there we go. You can speed this up, so like if you want it to not do 3 seconds, do 2.5, so it'll be slightly faster, or 2. Every 2 seconds he will fire at you. So tick tick fire, tick tick fire, tick tick fire. So if you watch the fire, it's a bit faster. If you don't put that yield for seconds in, it will go ballistic. So if I just show you and just get rid of that, just notice out, you will see how mad it goes. Boom, boom, boom. There, our player's already dead. So as you can see, they are bouncing off each other so madly, and everything's going mental. As you can see, if you look at the product, look how many bullets we have. Yeah. The reason that doesn't happen on our character is because on our character we've set it to if the keys were pressed up, and that up stage only lasts for a millisecond, so that automatically cuts all this out. But if we put that on the character, we'd be controlling the enemy, so it wouldn't be an enemy AI, or yeah, so we put that in, it's all good. Now to do the audio, create a new variable, so we'll call this fire sound, and it'll be an audio clip like so. So now if we copy that, and best place would be to put it would be here, because then it disables it straight away. So put it here, audio.Stop, so it stops all audio, then audio.PlayOneShot, I hope this is right, and paste it in. So now it should play that once. I don't know if it's like that. No, it's not. Right, so now if we equip that, it should work perfect. Where's he gone? Come back. There we go. Sound and enemy fireball. Also, yeah, we've already ticked it to untick 3D, so that's fingers crossed. There we go. It's a little delayed, but that's because of the sound. If I show you, this will be a bit hard to show, but if you look here, if I can drag this out, see the actual, these is the sound waves and the thing, and the higher it is on here, the louder it is. So as you can see, it doesn't start until it gets around here, then we can mostly hear it about here, so it doesn't start all that way. So if you watch, then we hear it when it hits there. So an easy fix would be for that is to use Audacity, which we'll be using in the next tutorial. So that's it, it all works. So you can equip that to Deathstroke. I'm not going to do it for now because we're still going to edit Shang Tsung. Next tutorial we are going to use Audacity to quieten down the Falcon Punch and then edit that one, teach you all how to use that. And then an upcoming tutorial, I don't think we'll be able to fit it into the next one, we will use the health. We'll add health to our character, so when he gets hit by the enemy fireball he loses health, and then when he gets so much he dies. Yeah. So thanks for watching, enjoy.